Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Mountain Man Monday. This is live stream episode number 45, and today is September the 21st, 2020. I want to welcome everyone that joins me here live tonight and maybe watching later on the Mr. Mountain Man YouTube channel. All the live streams are archived under the live stream playlist, which you can find on my channel. I hope everyone, as always, is having a great start to your week and a nice finish to your Monday. We're going to get it rolling here in a few minutes as people begin to join. And episode 45, this is pretty cool. Every week that I put in the next episode number, I'm impressed. I'm like, wow, this has been a lot of episodes. It's really kind of cool. And I love the format, and I love meeting with everybody each and every Monday. As we begin to roll further along in this interesting year that's been 2020, and we're inching closer and closer to fall. And as we roll into this latter part of the year, which happens to be probably my favorite time of the year, not just because of the holidays. I like all the diversity between August and December, from the end of the summer months, the fall time, the winter time with the holidays, and the family time. I just tend to like the latter half of the year best. It's always just a nice time of the year, and I don't want it to go too quickly because before you know it, let's see, it's already the mid-September. So October, November, December, 3.5 months, and we'll be at New Year's. And I'm not trying to be depressing about that, but if you look back 3.5 months, we're basically, I think, in the month of May. So if you think of when back to May is, but you roll that forward, that would be like New Year's. So time flies for sure. And I want to enjoy every minute of it, as it's always something special each time of the year. Let's see if anybody has joined us here. We have X Country Adventures. Hello, sir. Hello to you as well. I hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday, and glad that you are here this evening, as well as everybody else again who's joining us. And there's been, several people over the last few episodes that we've done that are newer to the channel. And I want to again give an extra hello and howdy to the new people on the Mr. Mountain Man YouTube channel. And hopefully you enjoy these Monday evening live streams. And I do my best to get as consistent as possible, but I always make a promise. Usually I make a promise usually that I will be on between the time of 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern. Somewhere in there, you can usually count on me to show up. And I always do make a notification on my Twitter account, which is same as the Instagram, which is at Mr. Mountain_man. And for neither do you actually need an account to view those. So if you're not into either one of those social media types, no worries. You can just go and put that in, and you can view the information. But I do, as accurately as possible on the evening of, announce what time I will be having the live stream. And tonight I did put a tweet out there that said I would be starting between 8 and 8:30. And I did the latter part of that. I think this hit right around the nose of 8:30. And so, anyway, and those are great ways to stay in touch as well, in between the videos and live streams on the YouTube channel itself. I saw a couple other people pop in here. Ted and Deborah Harrison. Hey, Mr. Mountain Man, we really enjoyed your video of the Apple Festival. Hope you didn't get stung. Hey, I appreciate you checking it out and watching it. So that's, one of the news items for the week. I did have a new video come out, which was out at Justice Orchard in Hendersonville, North Carolina, kind of east of Hendersonville, out Chimney Rock Road, and then a little jaunt out that way. There's a whole bunch of what they call local growers or apple orchards in this area that traditionally support the Apple Festival. And if you look back at my older videos, I have one from the Apple Festival in downtown Hendersonville. And that's what most people think of when they think of the Apple Festival in Western North Carolina. That street get together that has the fair food, and it has the vendors and the booths and the ice cream, the donuts and the shopping and the local crafts and all that stuff. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, they did not have the full version of the traditional Apple Festival, which I think they kind of snuck under anyway the radar and knew that this year wouldn't be as big of a deal because this would have been the 74th annual Apple Festival. Next year, even, or it's an odd number, but, nice quarter years, the 75th annual Apple Festival, I'm sure that will be a big one. And so the way they did it this year and I had talked about this in some of my live streams, they were having the local growers themselves. The orchards always have activities, but this year it was even heightened, with the awareness of them because there was no real big festival in downtown Hendersonville. So there were several to check out, and Justice Orchard was one that was, I don't know if I want to say sponsored, but they are listed as one of the official local growers of the North Carolina Apple Festival. So I had seen some good things and read some good things about it, and we went out there and we were not disappointed. As I had talked about in the last couple of live streams, there was just a plethora of things to do. I thought we were going to go out there and just pick apples, which would have been fun in itself. I mean, any kind of fruit picking and just being with the family would have been fantastic. But, I go out there and the apple cannon and the jumping pillow and the little cow train ride on the tractor and the kids area and the barn with all the shopping and the food. And then, of course, picking apples and feeding the animals. I mean, there was a lot of stuff to do. It wasn't that unreasonable financially because the apple cannon, I don't know if I mentioned that. That was my highlight of the day, or one of them, aside from being with the family, was the best. So there was just a lot of fun things to do. That was a really fun video. And yes, as the comment was made about the bees, I thought that was hilarious when they started, or the bees or the bugs or whatever those things were flying around. And I started like, what the heck was that? And, for those of you that follow the channel, I usually put bloopers at the very end after the picture that I put at the tail end of my videos, where it's me, giving the grin and the thumbs up with the hat on. I put bloopers after that. And I think that actually, unfortunately, a lot of people don't get to see that because they think the video ends. They see the little slider on YouTube. The cards come up with suggested videos, and then they just think, okay, it's done. But I put bloopers after that. So that was going to be a blooper, but I decided I wanted to put it earlier in the video. So I tried to cut it in there. I wouldn't call it a blooper, but I was wearing an Ohio State shirt that day. And I had somebody scream out to me, OH, and then I was caught by surprise. And so it was a little goofy. I put that at the tail end of the video. So that was a lot of fun. I had just been so busy. I hadn't gotten around to editing it a little bit sooner, but I finally did get around to it. I got it uploaded and really pleased with it. I hope you all enjoy it and got to see that. We got AZ Rock here. Hey, Mr. Mountain, I hope you and everyone here are well. We are. I hope you're having a great start to your week, and always nice to have you here. Hike with Mike. Hey, folks, here for a short bit. I'm exhausted, working a lot of hours, so I've been going to bed early these days. Yeah, Mike, feel for you. I hope you're getting some balance there. I know how those stints with working a lot of hours goes, and it's not fun, and it really wear you out. So I hope, and it's just the beginning of the week. I don't know what days you work, but whatever it is, I hope you can get some rest, and glad that you could make it for whatever part. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope things get better on the up and up for you. We got Mom here, Mr. Mountain Man Mom. Hey folks. Hello, Mom, to you and Dad, if he's in earshot. And I hope you guys are doing well. And I hope you are maybe up in Ohio enjoying some of the cooler weather. We are getting cooler weather here. Hello, Mr. Mountain Man and everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Chad, we are doing great here. I hope you are doing well up in your neck of the woods. And I'm sure where you are, I think you had already mentioned last week, it definitely was getting cooler. Fall had arrived up north. And so, yes. Let's see. We got hello. Oh, here we got Living with Larry, who I think I had pulled a fast one last week because the Steelers were on. I went on early. Living with Larry had followed up with a comment. Said, I missed the live stream. That was me going on earlier. Every once in a while, the Steelers game was well worth it because we won, and it was a great Monday Night Football game. I was very happy, and then they won again yesterday, so it's been a great start to the year. But Because of that early game, it started at 7:15. I went on at 6, which is really early, but yeah, so it was a little bit unusual. But that's the great thing about being able to catch up later. You just can't chat, but you can always leave a comment. So Living Like Larry says, good evening, Mr. Mountain and all. Hope you're having a wonderful night. We are, and I hope you're having a great start to your week, as always. I bet you would like to make one of those cannons. Let me tell you something. If you haven't seen the video yet, or you came in late, yes, I have the new Apple Festival or Apple Orchard video. So I was at one of the local growers of the kind of abridged 2020 Apple Festival, and they had a compressed air cannon for apples. And that thing was awesome. Now, I did one last fall. I didn't have a video on it. We went out to a local place, a local like charity area for some get together, and they had a corn cob cannon, shoot corn cobs at scarecrows. Actually hit one of the scarecrows. It was really cool. And I thought I was really impressed. But I think with that one, you only got 2 corn cobs. This one, you paid $5 and you got 10 apples. And I think what they did is they found like the apples that were kind of like the runts on the ground. Because they weren't crab apples, but they were, they had a bunch. And but at that price that they're getting, I think 5 for 10, and if they're not going to sell them. But anyway, the cannons were huge. I mean, the little ones I used at in the fall for the corn were like the length of your arm. This thing was like, I don't know, what was it, like 8 feet long, 10 feet, I don't know, it was big. And you had this like lever, if you see in the video, you had to pull it out and push it in. And then there was a trigger on the side on the handle, which was crazy because when the kids got up, they kept accidentally pressing it. Like the minute they grabbed the handle, it would shoot before they meant. So it might be pointing down and it would shoot on the ground. But that thing was a lot of fun. I mean, I could sit there for a half an hour shooting apples at those star kits. I thought that was really cool. And what made it better was somebody with an Ohio State shirt saw me and they said, hey, we have an extra ticket. We're not going to use it. Would you like it? I'm like, you kidding me? Absolutely. So, 10 for me, 10 for the kids. And it was a lot of fun. That was really cool. Love the apple cannon. Wish we had an orchard with one of those around here. I had no idea. I would have picked that place just because of the apple cannon. That was a surprise when we got there because you had to buy the tickets. And it was like, what are we buying the tickets for? The tickets were for the train ride and the jumping pillow and the cannon. And I think that was it. Everything else was like the little playground was free. And the apples you just bought, you bought the size you want. And I forget, we got a big box. I mean, the one we filled to the brim, like a little mini mountain on the top of the box. And we've eaten some of the apples and we've made some desserts with some of the apples. And so they went to good use. Faye said, hey, Alan, just watch your Apple Festival video. Loved it. Thank you, Faye. I appreciate it. Yes, that's what we're catching up on here about all the fun stuff we did. That was a lot of fun, especially poking fun at me, swatting the bees / bugs or whatever they were. That was hilarious. I don't mind poking fun at myself. It's a lot of fun because I look like an idiot when I was just moving away from them. Speaking of bugs, Mountain Man, you'll probably remember this. This is a height of love bug season right now in Florida. Lots of messy windshields. Yeah, when you live in Florida, there are these, and I might get these off a little bit. And Faye also knows about this. The love bugs, they live for like 24 hours. It's basically 2 bugs. They mate. And they come in these little pairs. They don't sting you. They don't bug you. They just like a lot of nothingness. And they're not as big as like mayflies up north. Those things are a lot bigger. These are little tiny, they're almost the size of like a lightning bug, but maybe even a little smaller. But anyway, when they fly around, you drive your car and they get stuck to them and they land on it and then they stick to them. So they actually had, when I lived down there, if you'd go to like Advance Auto or maybe Walmart, they had a love bug spray that was special. I don't know what it was formulated of to get the love bugs off without kind of messing up the paint and stuff like that. So, yeah, so it was, love bugs are, if it's a height of love bug, I had forgotten what time of the year that was. But yes, a lot of messy windshields for sure. I remember hand cleaning those things off. They're a pain in the bug. David Cantrell is here. Hey, everybody, missed last week. Second time here. Hello to you. And I hope you are having a great Monday and glad to have you back on the Monday night live stream. Yes, welcome to the chat. Yep, Dad's here. We are at the lake. That is awesome. I know it's getting cooler up there in northern Ohio, so hope you're staying warm. You'll have to give a weather report of how it is. Let's see. Oh, they make potato cannons around here. You know what? I am no cannon vegetable and fruit cannon expert, but I believe if potato cannons are kind of like the first ones that were around, right? Weren't potato cannons like compressed air and like a PVC pipe? I mean, you can get hurt, but you can make these like homemade cannons. I'm sure they have them on YouTube on how to make them, but I think potato cannons were like the original idea. But those ones that Apple, and by the way, that whole get up and rig, I mean, it was on like a swivel. I don't, hopefully they made their money back. There was a nice line for it. I probably waited about 20 minutes for it. Let's see. Oh, I want to, bet it's cold. Bet it's cold up at Erie, Mr. Mountain Man Mom. Yeah, it does get cold up at the lake. Yes, up yeah, they would be up on Lake Erie in northern Ohio. So that is, and it does get chilly. And then on the western side of the state, eastern side of the state, in the winter, you can get all that like snow belt up there in Cleveland and Erie, and you can get a lot of snow. Yes, because it's Ohio. Hey, our short story. Hey, Mr. Mountain Man, the apple video made me want to go out and pick some apples. Well, I tell you what, you're not too late, because apple season, and I had put a link in the video. There's a PDF of that particular orchard, and what was neat about it, I wish I would have looked at it ahead of time. Didn't really matter, but it gave information row by row of the different varieties of apples and what time of the season they're in. Like I had mentioned in the video, an apple I'd never heard of called Arkansas Black, and I believe Rita Lockett, who's in our live streams a lot, had mentioned what those were like. But I had looked on the map, and those apples come in season in like late October. Well, of course, we were there, September, I don't know, what was it, 10th or something, whatever Labor Day weekend was. And so way too early for it. So anyway, back to this. If you go to pick apples, it's not too late, because it's all this month and next month. And you don't even need to come over here. I'm sure East Tennessee, Western North Carolina, anywhere should have apple picking. And it's reasonable. Like, we didn't pay entry or parking or anything for that orchard. Had we wanted to go there, we could have walked into that barn / area, bought a bag of apples and left. And a lot of people were doing that, or bought some apple butter, jam, cider, or just go and pick some apples. So it's a very budget friendly for the family too, which I like, because, a lot of these events can get out of control. Those of you with kids in a family or not, it doesn't matter, but you go to a fair, like any kind of fair where you buy tickets, it can get expensive fast, because you go through the tickets really quickly. And that's why I kind of like, honestly, the theme parks, because you know what the price is up front, and you know everything's included except for the food. Yeah, so anyway, I think apple picking and is a great thing to do in the fall. That apple cannon looked like a howitzer. Yeah, it was pretty. It was something else. It was really cool. I was impressed. Better than the average vegetable or fruit cannon, again, that I would say. Foxy Wolf, I'm here for Mountain Man Monday. Just my chat would not come up. Blank screen. Okay. Glad to have you here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Hopefully it's not on this end, but you all let me know. I did run into that issue a couple of weeks ago where it froze, but it sounded like the audio continued on. And if that ever happens again, I can close the browser and come back in. I hate the love bugs. They ruin the paint on your car. I had heard that too in Florida. And so I always tried to, clean the car if it got really bad, like if we were driving, at night and they were particularly bad or whatever. Yeah, don't like the mayflies. I remember, speaking of Lake Erie, being up there with my dad years ago, and, they would, come out and then just I have some crazy pictures these aren't digital pictures, back in camera film picture of mayflies landing like all over the car and the road. It was nuts. It's really crazy. Let's see. Yes, PVC. You could make the those cannons out of. Yes, the Apple shooting cannon was great. Hey, Rita, glad to have you here. I hope if I missed your hello, but hello and welcome. I hope you're having a great start to your Monday. And it was really a lot of fun. I'm about 35 miles south of the lake, and it's plenty cool here already. That's right. I think you had mentioned Sandusky or Upper Sandusky or something like that once upon a time, or maybe I'm dreaming that up. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I remember, growing up in Ohio, it would, September would roll around, and all of a sudden in the mornings, the temperature would just go zoom. And so you had to be aware. There must be over 100 types of apples, new ones every year. Yeah, I'm just the kind of person, I just at Walmart, I literally just, what's the cheapest one? And then I buy the bag. I should pay more attention. If I eat like 5 apples in a row, I can tell the variety. But if I'm just picking up a single apple, I'm like, that's an apple. So I don't know. But if you taste test, and I know there are ones that are like better for baking versus better for eating, and some are sour, like the green ones, and all that kind of stuff. My PC is going to make me lose my religion. Had to switch to a tablet. Time for a new PC. Yeah, that happens every once in a while. I built my PC years ago. Like, they're like Legos. They're not really that complicated. And Faye, didn't you just build a new computer? Again, I get info these days, like all of you, from like social media and outlets and things coming in 90 directions. But you basically buy, I have the same case for my, I have a big desktop. I'm not using it right now. I'm on a tablet also, but I have a big PC, and the form factor, which means, the way it is, the, I forget, ATX or whatever the form factor, just, they haven't changed it in a gazillion years. So, I have a motherboard in there, a processor, memory, the hard drive. The only thing I have switched, I built that machine 10 years ago. It still has the original Intel i7 processor, the original memory, and the original solid state drive, which were really new at the time. They were kind of expensive. I've added some external drives. The only thing I have switched was the video card. I upped it a lot because of YouTube, because video processing takes a lot of video muscle. And so anyway, I built the PC. PCs aren't like they were back in the 90s and early 2000s with Moore's Law and doubling in power. Most of the thing people use them these days for are the internet and maybe a little video and some email and stuff like that. And so, you can get a lot more mileage these days out of a computer, laptop, tablet, whatever. A lot of people just go the route of just using their phone too. Hey, Loggy Doggy. Hey, Mr. Mountain, Foxy, AZ, Larry, and everybody else. I hope you're having a great start to your week, Loggy Doggy. I think I had just seen a comment come across from you on the Apple video, so thank you for watching that and checking that out. Living Like Larry gives a report. You are looking and sounding good so far, Mr. Mountain. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Hey, we got Big Daddy here. Hey, everybody. Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone. And we are doing well. I hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday. The mayflies, they cover everything. They sure do. I was laughing so hard with the bugs flying around you and slowing down. Watch for the bees. When I showed the kids that, they were cracking up. They thought that was the funniest thing because I wanted to poke fun at myself. And I was telling them, Rita, how I always put bloopers at the end, but most people don't wait. So I wanted to put that one earlier because I thought it was funny. But I was sitting there, we were recording, and I was like, what are these things? I'm start moving. These like black bugs, and they were, they were getting in the way. So it was funny. Love bugs will flat out take the paint off your car, and they will fly up your nose. I remember them flying up the nose. But the thing about the paint, yeah, that's what they said. And that's why they had that specially formulated stuff, I think, to protect the paint that you could find in Florida. I can't remember what color the bottle was, but yeah. Hey, we have Kentucky Girl. Hey, Mr. Mountman and Nolan chat. Hello to you. I hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday. And thank you for joining us. Let us know how you are doing. Living Like Larry says he is from close to Upper Sandusky. That's right. Okay. Which is crazy because in Ohio, Upper Sandusky is more south than Sandusky. Sandusky is on the lake where Cedar Point is, and Upper Sandusky is south of Sandusky. So I don't know. it's backwards. Should be like Lower Sandusky, right? I mean, Southern Sandusky. Yes, close to Tiffin. Let's see here. Just a hello. I don't want to miss anybody's comment. Foxy Wolf. Oh yeah, just build a Ryzen 5 3600 AMD. So you went AMD route. Yeah, I'm telling you, and that's the way to go. You build that, you replace the guts, probably last you 10 years or more, just like mine. Just a really good way to go. My laptop was custom built, but it's just time. My tablet is brand new and I got a new keyboard, easier to type. Yeah. So I can appreciate now like the power and portability of a nice tablet with a connected keyboard, whether that's like a Microsoft Surface or an iPad or whatever. They can double because now technology is so good and it's gotten so small that really you don't have to get a big laptop or anything like that, or even a PC like I was talking about. The only reason I still have a PC again is because of this ability to scale. I can replace some of the innards of it if needed, and it lasts a long, long time. I have a place in the room where it sits, and so it's no big deal. But yeah, I have been trying new recipes, and tonight I made Nashville hot chicken. It was good, but pretty warm. I had slaw with it and it helped me cool down. You know what? I just ate dinner and that make me hungry again. That sounds really good. That sounds delicious. Hopefully that turned out really, really good. One of the things on YouTube that is another huge, area, cooking, people, a lot of cooking channels and people, exploring and showing their recipes and stuff. It's a really good medium to share that information. Love building one. You can get some good deals shopping for parts and save some money. Yeah, I know exactly, Faye. Like when I built my computer years ago, I was buying between mostly getting stuff off of Newegg and probably a little bit off of Amazon and maybe even some other random parts because once I would zone in on a part that a specific one I'd want, then I would just Google it, find a reputable seller, maybe Tiger Direct was in there or some other ones or, whatever. And then just buy it from the cheapest place and then, put it together at a cost, very cost effective. Enjoyed the video. Thank you. I appreciate it. I had fun making it. Yes, about the cat. Hopefully everything is well, Kentucky girl. It's amazing what cat testosterone does. He's just hanging around the house now. That's good to know. I hope everything is well with your animals. Your ribs look delicious. I think I asked before, but do you have a smoker? So I do not. So a lot of you follow me and I'll show Instagram here in a couple of minutes. Is that, I cook on a propane grill. Yeah. And so I know people have like the egg or smokers and, cook for like 18 or 20 hours and listen, nothing tops that. That is absolutely the best. But with a busy family life and active life, I do what I can with what I have. So one of the tricks I found with propane over the years is like mine has the pull-out tray where you can put the like the hickory soaked chips in it to add the smoke. Plus the grill itself over time, even though I clean it, will build up the dripping and the flavor. So as soon as you activate it, it's not like you're just cooking on bare metal like in the oven. That smoke from all those flavors comes back up into the food, marinating it right and stuff. So these were slow cooked on a propane grill. But let me tell you something, they were delicious. The family was tearing them apart, going nuts about them. I also do that little trick where I pull the skin off the back of the, use a little butter knife to get it in, then use paper towels so you can grab it a hold of it and pull the skin off the back of the baby back ribs. So that way the marinade can penetrate it. And it was delicious. That confuses so many people, but it has to do with the river, I guess. That was about the Upper Sandusky versus Sandusky. Yes. But the ribs were awesome. Nuri's here. Hello, Alan. Hello to you as well. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. And I hope you are having a wonderful day. Say hello to everyone. And mom is here as well. Sounds good to me. I like it hot with extra dill pickles. Yes. Welcome, Nuri. Read up. What is exactly Nashville hot chicken? I figured even before I read that, I wondered, I was like, she's using Siri or something because Rita and read up. Yep. I sent it my phone. I read it up. Sorry. I cooked it with the crock pot. Sounds good with a little less heat. That was the spicy. I got some videos on the Blackstone and a rib one. Oh, everybody, if Living Like Larry, check out, again, anybody who has a channel here, please promote it. Let us know. And, if you have a channel, let us know and let us know what it's about, and everybody check them out. I mentioned this the other week. Even when I'm on YouTube, if you click somebody's name in a live stream, and you want to, because you're like, oh, I want to check out their channel. It always seems to me, it always just says report the user. So like I said, you have to like remember their name or open a new tab or go search for it and leave the live stream and come back. But anyway, it's worth it. Hot fried chicken dipped in hot sauce, generally served on white bread with pickles. Oh, wow. That sounds really good. Yes, the membrane on the back of the ribs. And a lot of people don't do that. It's nothing special. But once you get the hang of it, it's kind of cool. Nashville hot chicken. I saw a commercial for Colonel Sanders, but didn't know exactly what it is. Now I know. Mr. Mountman, what was the little bowls in the picture with the ribs? Oh, marinade. Yeah, those were, again, that was what I was talking about. So they were hickory chips that you soak in a bowl of water, and then I put those in foil over the burner that was active, and then those hickory smokes or hickory chips burn slowly, providing the smoky atmosphere in the grill. So again, I'm not using a smoker, and I usually don't have the time to invest. But it was because I try to squeeze so much into the day, I usually only relegate grilling for the end of the day very quickly. I have a nice electric Masterbuilt smoker. I cook under the garage, and it does not require constant watching. I have a round smoker basket for a gas grill. Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling I will get into that someday. I just, it's just a time thing. I just haven't gotten into it. And so, yeah, but I know like if you're going to make like good barbecue, you got to smoke it. Although again, I will say the ribs yesterday, if you guys, I pulled the marinade, the dry rub off of a recipe on the internet that was highly rated, and it had a lot of the traditional stuff. It was like brown sugar, salt, pepper, paprika. Was it paprika or cumin? I forget. Paprika, I think. Yeah, it was paprika. Ground mustard, onion powder. Am I missing an ingredient? I don't know. Mixed it all up, rubbed it in there. It was so good. Like we did all three had the dry rub, but then a couple of them, I put the barbecue sauce in the last 15 minutes. It didn't need it. The dry rub was so good. It just didn't need anything. They were just good like that. It was really, really nice. Yes. Wonderful to have you here tonight, Nuri. Yes, Foxy, I switched from an offset charcoal to a pellet smoker. Much better for convenience. I'll tell you, one of the fun things is if you ever get invited to somebody's house who does have a smoker and you're cooking like a pork butt, brisket, ribs, you name it. Oh, the feed is breaking up. Let me know, guys, if that's the truth. Everything should be rocking and rolling here to be pretty good, but let me know if there's any audio or video quality. I live alone, just cook for me, so I've not splurged on the pellet grill yet. Yeah. Again, there's so many. I used to like watching on like TLC all these people who compete smoking barbecue and stuff. And there's some fun shows like Man Fire Food. That's a really cool one if you're into like grilling and want to watch a fun show on TV. This hot chicken is cooked in the crock pot with cayenne pepper, brown sugar, garlic powder, chili powder, paprika, and chicken broth. That sounds like a great combination. Yes, that does sound like a nice setup, Foxy. And Rita, that food sounds delicious. Audio and video are good. My audio and video are good. Okay. Thank you for the report. And with that, let's get to the housekeeping of the week. And let me I did not get that prepared. There we go. All right, bringing it up now. Awkward silence as I get things ready. Good thing I'm not like a paid broadcaster or something, right? I'd be flubbing it up. Here we go. All right. Let's see. I can keep the banner on. I think there's enough room. I usually do. All right. What pictures do we have for the week? Where did we leave off? I think I did show just, to connect the dots. I showed these two. Let me just show them again for anybody who missed them last week. Of course, that was at the Apple Festival. You already saw that. That's on the backdrop of the thumbnail. That was a lot of fun. That was that horse that ate out of my hand. And that was so, horses are cool. I'm so used to looking at like a dog or like, small animals, but you get to a horse and you're like, is this a dinosaur? I mean, you know what I mean? It's massive. They're just the awesome, coolest animal. I can see why people, really get into horses and horseback riding or breeding horses or having a farm. Just super awesome. That was a while ago. That was Labor Day weekend. So that definitely, I guess you guys have already seen that. A couple weeks old. What was that? Pork, chicken, and corn. That was just getting started because that meat still looks a little bit raw there. Here's some newer ones. This was from last Saturday. Went to the gym and I'll be honest with you guys. I don't like taking selfies in the gym. I feel like such a nincompoop. I guess I just wanted to share the experience because I enjoy the fitness part of it. But believe you me, I was so embarrassed doing what I was doing right there. I was like, and then I put it away so fast. There are a lot of people who sit in front of the mirror, taking pictures and doing stuff. I was like, you know what? I talk about it so much. Let me share it with the folks in the community. So I went ahead and took that picture. So this was yesterday. Okay. Yesterday, okay, it is still summer, right? I mean, today is what's the official start of fall is tomorrow, I think, or today. Doesn't matter. Yesterday was summer. All right. I don't care that we're in the mountains. This is still the Carolinas and it's the South, geographically. And we are a warm and temperate climate. I mean, it gets cold in the winter, but we are not Minnesota. We are not Canada. We are not Washington or Montana. So there's years we don't get snow. There's years we do get snow. We have had this kind of cold front come through. And I had seen that Mount Mitchell yesterday morning was supposed to be early in the morning in the high 20s. Okay, 20s in the summer. That's crazy in my book. Still, we're in the Carolinas. That's not unusual for Montana or Minnesota or some other places, but we're not that far north. We're still in the South. And normally this time of the year, it's still 70s, 80s, lows maybe in the 50s, still 60s. Unusually cold. I said, we got to go up there. We got to get up early in the morning. We got up 6:30. That's like a miracle for the family to get out of the house. And I knew it would still be in like the 30s when we got there, 30s. And so sure enough, we drove up above 6,000 feet and we did see that. And it was awesome. It was so cold. Look at the coat I'm wearing. And the views were, it was like what you see in an airplane when you get above the clouds. If you look behind me, we're at 6,500 feet there, and below it was a clear day. I was in awe. I thought it was so super cool to be in the 30s. Is that the only one I had? I thought there's more in there. Yeah. So check out that picture. Talk about, the pictures don't do it justice. It was incredible. And it's the stuff of paintings up there. This picture here, there's a lake down there in the middle. You can see for 100 miles probably. And it was just very, very, very beautiful yesterday. That was super cool. And then, yes, there's the ribs that we were talking about, 3 slabs. The deal with ribs, because they can get expensive. I got these on sale at Ingles Labor Day weekend and had them frozen for a couple weeks because I knew I needed a little extra time. So we went up there to Mount Mitchell yesterday, enjoyed the summer weather. And then we came back. I watched the Steelers game and then I cooked. And so that was a pretty fun day. That was a great, kind of family fun day. I think that's the end of the pictures. I missed some comments here. Let me see. This is interesting. As of January 6th, I've gone plant-based for health reasons, so not grilling this summer. And I hope that's going well for you. I have noticed a lot of people, especially in Hollywood or people that are really well-to-do, going to plant-based diets, even for their protein, including, believe it or not, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, he says, and he, in a recent interview, he still has the occasional steak or what is the German? He's, the German food he like. He's from Austria, but he's like Wiener Schnitzel or whatever it is. He still, enjoys, but for the most part, plant-based diet. I know Kevin Hart, because I had watched a series on YouTube of what people's diets are. It was like plant-based diet. Mark Wahlberg, who does a lot of working out and fitness, plant-based diet. Now, I said Hollywood and a lot of famous people because guess what all these people have? Their own chef. So, they have unlimited money and their own chef. So I'm sure they can get very creative and have delicious meals. But for the rest of us, I'm not sure. But it is interesting though, because a lot of people are saying you don't need all those animal products in order to, be fit and all this stuff like that. It was just an interesting kind of thing that I didn't realize was going on. So it's really cool that you brought that up, Kentucky Girl, because I had just seen some stuff like that. Rita says it sounds good. Let's see. Oh, Rita said it got blurry. I hope it's cleared up. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully nobody jumped on the internet. Hey, we've got Tony and Leanne here. I use a small potbelly stove fed into a 55-gallon drum. Yeah. Again, I by no means ever the thing that I do have going for me is I'm consistent because as you guys see, I grill like every week. But I, a lot of people, have techniques that are, much better than what I'm sure I'm doing, whether it's chicken or some of the other prep or, all the different things. But yeah, there are definitely a lot better ways. But I'm telling you again, we had one slab of ribs left over for tonight, and the kids were like, "When are you going to do ribs again?" I usually only do them like once a year or twice a year because again, they do cost a little bit more and they take a little more time. But still had it. It still was good. A vegetable grilling is good. Yeah, a lot of times you'll see I have corn or asparagus. I like to do asparagus on the grill. Faye likes to put ribs in a slow cooker overnight and then throw them on the grill. That's another great idea because oh my goodness, they're probably they get that char, but then they fall off the bone. So that's a really good deal. I'll take a piece of that corn with butter. So that picture that I had there was an unusual way. What had happened that night was I ran out of foil. So I normally do, if they're going to go straight on the grill, what had happened is I'd already shucked them, like taking the, the outside off. And we didn't have any foil because normally what I do is I'll brush them with a little bit of olive oil, put butter in there and a little bit of salt, and then let them kind of boil and grill in that foil. And when you take them out, they taste really good. But I had already taken I'd shucked the corn and they were bare, but we didn't have any foil. So I used that tray, which you can also cook fish on that tray, by the way. Yeah. Oh, so that's cool. Oh, throw that back up since some people were talking about it. Hey, we got All About the Smokies. Hey, Mr. Mountain Man, hello to you as well. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Once again, I always like to plug All About the Smokies, another great channel in the mountain community and full of entertainment. So check out All About the Smokies. That's unnecessary, Mr. Mountain Man, about the gym. Was that? Oh, unnecessary. I taped. That's funny. Unnecessary. Maybe that was, he said unnecessary. I typed. That's funny. Did you mean that's cool? Or that was, I don't know. I was just saying I was embarrassed to take the picture. Maybe I don't know. I just thought it would be fun to do that. Oh, Blake says, you live the world's best life, Mr. Mountain Man. So jealous. Well, I do feel very blessed and fortunate. Well, welcome to the live stream, by the way. I hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday. What are you holding in the avatar there? I cannot tell. That's interesting. Is that a boat? or a jet ski. I mean, you're not holding a boat. I can't tell what that is. That's one of the advantages of the of this software here, is that you get to see some really cool pictures that people have. So let us know what you've got there. It looks like it says Celine. No, it doesn't say Celine. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a musical instrument. I'm guessing now. So you have to let us know, Blake. And welcome to the live stream. Do you like grilled eggplant, AZ Rock? Well, that was to AZ Rock. I haven't had grilled eggplant, but you'll have to let us know. Yes, my sister did some. Do you? About the eggplant. Oh my goodness, I'm falling behind in the comments. Yes, welcome, Blake. Hello, I'm finally supposed to drop to 60 tonight, but still in the 80s by the day. Yeah, it's kind of that, like a desert this time of the year in a lot of parts, where it still stays as hot as summer, but then it gets cold at night. And Kentucky Girl says, I do plan on experimenting with grilling some vegetables next year. Yeah. I bet you YouTube's one of the best places to find on how to grill just about anything you want to do. Rita said it was in the 50s yesterday morning there. It sure is nice to get a break from this. Forget Adam's ribs, give me some Mr. Mountain Man ribs. Yeah. Again, I think the marinade is what made it. It was really, really good. That dry rub. I keep calling it marinade, dry rub. Excuse me. So David had 40s, Ted had 50s. Well, I'm doing eggplant or plant-based, but I'm sure not that well to do. Well, it was just interesting because, again, I think because people had their own personal chefs, they were able to do that. My daughter has friends that only eat the veggie stuff. So if I'm cooking out and they come over and they bring over separate burgers for me to grill, like those Beyond Meat and stuff, which I still have yet to eat, but they're hot commodity in the world these days. And I've seen them at like Sam's Club and stuff. I just haven't tried them yet. Plant-based is not necessarily better for you, but it's somewhat better for the environment. Oh, that's interesting too. Okay. I am really a novice. I just seen some stuff and it intrigued me. Didn't mean I wanted to do it, but as obvious by my picture here, I got 3 slabs of ribs. What I'm doing, plant-based, that is inspired by the movies Forks Over Knives, which I think was on Netflix, right? I think I had that in my queue. I've never seen it. I love ribs grilled out. Yes, it was success. Yesterday, Rita. It was really nice. I never watched that movie. Now I will check it out, says AZ Rock. I do plant-based vicariously. Cows eat plants. I eat cows. It's all good. Yeah, there you go. That's the circle of everything happening there. Let's see. If you do watch Forks Over Knives, let me know what you're thinking about the next chat we're in. Yes. And if anybody else has seen that, that's really cool. So with that, let's move to the next part, which is the news and notes for the week. And let me flip over to that and get it pulled up. Boy, I should have been a little better prepared, seeing as how I always know what's going to be happening here. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So I've got some fun ones today, not just in the mountains. Coming back and stop the screen and share the screen. And here we go. Maybe. But all right. So those of you that know, one of my favorite movies, what am I talking about? My favorite movie of all time, hands down, is Top Gun. Oh, Loggy Doggy said he's got to go. I'll have a conversation. My wife's reminding me I'm back to work after a lazy do-nothing vacation. Gatlinburg was packed, so we were now going the weekend November 15th. Be safe. And thanks, mods. Yes, thank you, Loggy Doggy, for stopping by. So from this article, so that's titled Navy Fighter Pilots at Top Gun Get Fined for Quoting the Movie Top Gun. Which Top Gun, so from the article, this is Top Gun. The new one's coming out at the end of this year, second one. The original came out in 1986, helped inspire an entire generation of fighter pilots who feel the need for speed. As kids grew up with dreams of flying through the air, facing off against Russian MiGs, doing 4G negative dives, a select few ended up following in the footsteps of Cruise's character Maverick and training at the elite fighter pilot school known as Top Gun, which, yes, if you ever watch the behind the scenes stuff about Top Gun, the movie itself got a whole bunch of people that were of age at that time to sign up for the Navy and try to become fighter pilots. Former fighter pilot and Top Gun instructor Commander Gus Bus Snodgrass, which, by the way, another thing about fighter pilots, they typically, from what I have seen, you don't get cool call signs like Maverick and Iceman. It's like the call sign is given to you, and it's usually something slightly that you did, embarrassing, or, I mean, if anybody wants to correct me, this is what I had seen before. And so you don't always get, the nicest name. But this guy was named Bus. Details what his life was like for fighter pilots in the world of a new book, Top Gun's Top 10 Leadership Lessons from the Cockpit. As I messed up and clicked in the wrong area. He said he was inspired by the movie to become a fighter pilot. And when he's a junior officer, pilots used to quote the film all the time. When he started training at Top Gun, he learned that if it was against the rules to quote the movie, and if you did decide to quote the film, you had to pull out of your wallet and pay a $5 fine. So it's part of our bylaws that if somebody overtly references the movie, it could be a direct quote. It could be something that is really close and direct. That's an automatic $5, and it's enforced. You're expected to pay right then and there. He said most pilots end up paying the fine at some point or other during their elite fighter pilot school. It's ingrained in our culture to a certain extent. He explained that the rule against quoting the movie was put in place to remind pilots to take their training seriously and not treat it like a joke. He explained, when you get to Top Gun, because it's such a professional organization, you want to emphasize you're at top of your game, and it's about professionalism, about good leadership. You don't turn Top Gun into a joke by referencing the movie. Like, I feel the need for speed, something like that. There's a whole bunch of, quotes that we use in society from Top Gun, but I thought this was crazy because, one, I'm a big Top Gun fan, but it doesn't surprise me that much. There's a lot of spoilers. Like, if you like the movie, there's a lot of ex-fighter pilots, some who are very polite about it and enjoyed the movie, and others that'll just tear it apart about how cheesy it is. But what was interesting is if you look at the movie and how it came about, I mean, it was all based on the real school and the adrenaline from it and everything. But of course, a lot of the storylines that were picked and such are fictitious. But nonetheless, I still enjoyed it. I wonder what they use the fine money for. Beer? I don't like on their days off. I have no idea. That's a good question. And it's probably in the book, which I might need to check out. That's pretty cool. Top Gun's Top 10 Leadership Lessons from the Cockpit may have nothing to do about Top Gun. It might just be, like a leadership book, but that's a good question. So that was a fun one. Next up, here's another fun one as that thing goes away. All right. Bankrupt. Chuck E. Cheese wants to shred 7 billion prize tickets. So most of you have probably ventured into Chuck E. Cheese at one point in your life or another, or at least know about it. There's a fun history on that too. I'm big into documentaries. There was Showbiz, if you remember that. And actually Showbiz bought Chuck E. Cheese, but Chuck E. Cheese was the more recognizable brand. So they made it Chuck E. Cheese, or Charles Cheese is the parent company that is now bankrupt. It's kind of like Kmart and Sears. Kmart bought Sears, but Sears was the more recognizable brand. So that's why it became Sears, for both. So listen to this. Chuck E. Cheese has accumulated. So Chuck E. Cheese, when you used to go in and play like skeet ball and games, little paper tickets would come out. I had the privy of enjoying this when our kids were younger. And the tickets would come out. It was a real fun thing because, if you did something great and 100 of those things spit out and you'd put them in a bag and you count them up and you go to the counter and you get something that was like junk from the dollar store, but it was still neat to the kids, loved it. But in the last few years, to be more economically friendly, and honestly, I think it was a great way to make more money, they made everything digital on a card. So you didn't have tokens. You had a card that you go to the machine and just put it down on the reader and it would deduct the money. Well, the problem with that for a 7-year-old or a 5 or a 10-year-old is money still has enough for a young child to understand this is a token. I put it in, I have less tokens. But when you have a card, you just go around slapping that thing and all of a sudden you're out of $20 like that. So Chuck E. Cheese was smart to do it like that. Not only they save money on the paper tickets, you run out of money faster, and the tickets, the credits would go to your card. You just take the card up to the counter and say, give me whatever. They didn't have the hassle of the tickets, but they still had the tickets around. That's what the article is about here. Yes. So here was a good comment here. You could go bankrupt playing games at Chuck E. Cheese. Yes, you can. Yeah, someone made the statement 7 billion tickets will get you a teddy bear. It'd be nice if the money back on the last article went something like Wounded Warriors. Yes, that would be good. I don't know what they put it for. The Chuck E. Cheese article has accumulated over 7 billion prize tickets during the coronavirus pandemic and is now asking bankruptcy court for permission to have them shredded. The tickets were ordered before the company filed for bankruptcy in June. Individually, the tickets are practically worthless. Just 13/10,000ths of a dollar. Is that right? My decimals there is nothing. They're worth nothing. But altogether, they can be traded in for around $9 million worth of merchandise. The company said they have enough tickets to fill 65 40-foot cargo shipping containers. They told the court it will cost them $2.28 million to have 3 vendors shred the tickets. Lawyers wrote that the cost of shredding them is, quote, far lower than the cost the company should these prize tickets be circulated to the general public and presented for redemption. Collecting armfuls of paper prize tickets to trade for prizes like tiny erasers or action figures may soon be a thing of the past. Even before the pandemic, Chuck E. Cheese began switching paper tickets with e-tickets, which were cleaner, greener, and faster. And again, they were making more money. The court filing said that the pandemic forced them to expedite their plans to phase out the physical tickets and switch to contactless ones. The only thing I don't understand from the article, and I read it a few times, is I get it. If those 7 billion tickets worth 9 million in merchandise had gotten circulated, a company in bankrupt would lose 9 million in merchandise if there are any Chuck E. Cheese's open. That's not a good thing. But how do they get the tickets? Why would they be circulated? They didn't seize them from customers. So it sounds to me like the 7 billion tickets were in a warehouse, but they're not using tickets anymore. So what was the liability that they would get circulated? I'm missing something here. Faye says, good night, I have to take off. Good night, Faye. I hope you have a wonderful week. So I don't understand what the liability of having them circulate. I do understand if they're sitting collecting dust and it's no longer part of their model that they would need to shred them and get rid of them. AZ Rock says, I think they closed here in Tucson. Yeah, they have one here in Asheville. I think it was closed, but I don't know if it's closed permanently. They had those tickets at the Cedar Point Arcade. We always had season passes. We have the kids save their tickets all year long so they could get a decent prize. That's a great idea. That's better than getting the eraser. When my grown son was little, we went to Mr. Gaddy, and he had Gob's Gaddyland tokens in his room. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard of that place either. Recycle all that plastic and make something new, right? From all the little toys, right? I have not heard of that place. Our local Chuck E. Cheese closed a few months ago. I enjoyed Showbiz Pizza way back as a child. Ever since it changed, it was never the same. Do you remember, Chad, when we were kids, that it was like a darker atmosphere? Like it was like when you would go in, it was like, you know, it wasn't brightly lit. It was like there was the stage with the animatronics and they had the characters and you would get your pizza like in front of the stage, but the overall atmosphere felt like darker. It like a dark steakhouse restaurant or something. And then they got rid of that. I think both Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz were like that. Mr. Gotti was a real good pizza place. Oh, that's cool. I do kind of miss the Chuck E. Cheese experience. I think that's a lot of fun. I always had fun. The only thing I didn't like about Chuck E. Cheese was the pizza. Okay, listen, I will eat any kind of pizza there is. And I don't mean like throwing all the toppings and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying like Little Caesars, no problem. Domino's, Pizza Hut, I don't have any pizza where I'm usually like, yuck. But oh my goodness, even grocery store pizza is fine. Chuck E. Cheese found a way to make the most boring pizza in the world. I would take the what's that? Why am I drawing a blank? The Parmesan cheese and the crushed red pepper and dump loads of it on the pizza to give it some kind of flavor because it was not that good of a pizza. And so yeah, I was always bored by the Chuck E. Cheese pizza, but they didn't have to woo you in by the food because the kids were going to go no matter what for the birthday parties or the video games or whatever. So yeah. What did it say here? Did I miss one? Oh, yeah. I think they were called the Rockafire Explosion, the band. Yes, of all the animatronics. They should take those toys left over and give them to children dealing with this nasty stuff and give the firemen and police officers or social workers for children in times of stress. Yeah. In general, this statement, there could be a lot. There can always be charitable and social giving in this world of many, many ways. And I agree. My wife is actually a social worker. And so, often there are many people that, are deserving of a little better time. So I completely agree. Now, on the business front, Chuck E. Cheese, it's kind of a shame because, it's a great place. I really hope that, I know they filed for bankruptcy, but I don't know if they're liquidating or if they're going to be under protection, but there is an opportunity for that to come back. That is not, sans the pandemic, there is still a space for that type of entertainment for kids. It's still a really fun place. It's not like, because they do have the entertainment of the, Chuck E. Cheese walking around, and they still have the band, and they have the birthday parties, and they have the video games, and they have the food. They really do a good job. But anyway, that's probably more than you want to know about Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, I have to agree with you on the pizza. It's not that great. The secret to Mr. Gotti's pizza was that they used provolone instead of mozzarella. I would fill up on the salad bar. Yes, Rita, that's what we would do too. So the reason why I sighed is because the salad bar was not that bad. But what happened is more than once I would go there, and that was kind of the adults would get the salad bar because they had some pretty good stuff and you could make a nice salad. But you'd get like a little 5, 6, 7-year-old that would run up to the salad bar without a parent and like grab like some pickles or olives or, a tomato or something with their hands. Or they'd make a salad and they'd use the tongs the way they were supposed to, but then it would fall down and they'd try to pick it up. They'd fall down on like the nasty area and then put it back in the bowl, or, do one of these jobs and then grab the I mean, buffets are like that in general, but the salad bar is kind of gross sometimes, but we still did it. I don't think I ever had provolone instead of mozzarella on a pizza. Yeah, that is a good idea. So anyway, Chuck E. Cheese, I hope it survives, and maybe by shredding the tickets, I don't know, maybe that'll help their cause. We'll see. Little mountain news here. So Roanoke, Virginia, which is an area we don't talk about much on this channel. It's usually a lot more focused on Western North Carolina as the home of this channel, and then East Tennessee would be the next up. But Virginia, the Blue Ridge Parkway goes out to there. This is titled Roanoke Tourism Leaders say Blue Ridge Parkway closure may actually be a blessing in disguise. So from the article, fall foliage is right on the horizon, and each year thousands of people hit the Blue Ridge Parkway to see them. But this year there's one hitch. The Blue Ridge Parkway is still closed from Explore Park in the Vinton area to Bent Mountain from prior storm damage. Despite that, Roanoke Valley tourism leaders say this might actually be a good thing for the region's hospitality industry, which is badly hurting from the pandemic. So when you go to the Roanoke area, it might be you're going to have to get off here for a few minutes, but we want you to stay for several hours or even plan on spending the night. Not passing up an opportunity, VBR created a detour bringing travelers through the heart of Roanoke Valley instead of just the basic drive around the closure. We want you to see the best of what we have, whether it be the Star, a place to have a beer, a glass of wine, or one of our many museums. There's a full website marketing plan to bring this to life, and for good reason, as the road repairs on the parkway are still months from completion. So this wasn't closed due to the pandemic. There was actually storm damage, but they're going to do they're going to take advantage of it and have people detour through the heart of Roanoke to increase tourism to make up for some of the lack of tourism that they've had because of the pandemic. I have not been over to the Virginia part of the Blue Ridge Parkway. And I think that's probably one of the lesser traveled areas for people in these parts because there's so much to do here. But if anybody else has been there, let us know. I would wonder what your experience was with the Virginia side of that. A couple catch-up comments. The secret of Mr. Gotti's piece. Oh, yeah, the provolone. We talked about that. Surprised nobody else heard of Mr. Gotti. I bet if you Loggy Doggy was still here, you'd know because they have them all over Louisville. I'll have to look it up because a lot of times when you look up these companies, one buys another. They consolidate, like I was talking about with Showbiz and Chuck E. Cheese. I think kids are the reason that Ryan's closed down. Yeah, well, we have a Ryan's here in Asheville we would love to go back to. I think it's open again, but we just haven't been that brave to go back out to buffets as we've talked about before. So there are still some open, but Ryan's has stiff competition from Golden Corral. Golden Corral was able to kind of use that same model, provide twice as many options for about the same price point. And I think that's why they had such a tough time. Roanoke is a speed trap on the parkway and areas surrounding off the parkway. That's interesting to know. Yeah, that's again, I don't know that much about the Virginia area of the parkway. I love Mr. Gotti's Kentucky Girl. I wish it would come back. Next up, another mountain article, a timely one, which I didn't get to a couple weeks ago when it froze, but here's what kind of fall foliage season we can expect in Western North Carolina. Look at that beautiful red tree in the picture right there. That's really cool. For the most part, by the way, this was written a few weeks ago, and so I don't think they've had insight to what the weather was like these last few days, which I think, as you will hear, plays into the hand of what we need. For the most part, as long as the weather plays along, biologists are dishing up a tasty forecast for fall foliage, although maybe not as much pop and spice as previous years. We've had a moderate summer and no drought situation, so the trees are in good shape, said Dr. Howard Newfield, professor of plant physiology, at Appalachian State University in Boone. The next 4 weeks, this was at the beginning of September, so we're halfway through that or more, are really what determines the timing and the quality of the fall colors. September is the critical month. If it gets cold and sunny, and as we're increasingly finding out, if the nights are cold, then that leads to on-time color peak and good color, said Newfield, who's also known as the fall color guy. So far, things are looking up compared to last year when September was unusually hot. Yes, I remember that, and dry, and delayed the start of the fall color and made the colors less brilliant. If we can get past this first week and it cools off, then we should be in a good place this year. When it's been a drought, a lot of trees drop the leaves early, but haven't had any drought. If the weather does cool off and we get those sunny days because trees are stressed, we should have good color season. The fall colors of yellow, orange, and red are revealed as photosynthesis and chlorophyll production slow and eventually stop when the weather turns colder. The yellow and orange pigments especially play a role in photosynthesis and help protect the plant from stresses like drought or bright and hot days or high UV conditions. The pigments are always in the leaf, but are masked by the chlorophyll and may be less abundant in wet and warm conditions. Another cue for leaves to start changing is the day length shortening, she said, as well as colder nights when the temperatures start to dip into the 40s and 50s. Well, guess what? What did we have yesterday? We had 20s, 30s, and 40s. Everybody else has been reporting 40s and 50s. I think we're going to have an amazing fall. I think the colors are going to be brilliant. If what these people say is right, this will be really, really cool. And pun intended. Oops, I bumped the microphone. And if you look here, as I always do, the 7-day Asheville and Western North Carolina forecast, look at our lows. It's going to warm back up a little bit. But 42, 4, I'm reading off the lows, 42, 49, 54, 58, 60, 62, 58. Yes, we do warm back up, but not considerably into the 80s or 90s or anything crazy, which, by the way, in September, we have had upper 80s. The last 2 years, it's been a hot September. I think we're going to have a wonderful fall color array, and I look forward to hopefully bringing that to you, maybe in a video or out and about and doing stuff. So there you have it for the news and notes of the week of September 21st, 2020. Let's go back to some of the comments that I missed here. Foxy commenting on the Parkway is really nice up Skyline Drive at the end at Front Royal. And again, the areas I'm not familiar with, so that's a good report back about that area of the Parkway. Have any of you ever eaten at Duff's Buffet years and years ago? The food rotated around like an airport luggage wheel, so you stood in one spot and waited for the food to come around. So we had in Central Florida, when I lived down there, we did have a Duff's Buffet, but I think it had been changed because it did not do that anymore. But when the kids were young, we did go to Duff's, and they always loved the desserts because they would put single serving sizes out on little plates that you could get. They usually had a good selection. For me, Duff's was between Ryan's and Golden Corral. They had a little, maybe a little more than Ryan's, and a little better meat quality selection, fresh like ribs and steaks, but they weren't as big as Golden Corral. Do people get detoured through a speed trap area? In other words, yeah, that's no way. And I wonder this day and age, with, tourism lacking and stuff, if cities are taking that into account, like, let's ease up on the old, 8 miles an hour over type tickets. Let's get people to stop here instead of having spite for our area because they got a $250 ticket. I got on kind of late tonight. Did I miss everybody talking about the bear attack in the Smoky Mountains? No, nobody mentioned that, but I did see an article about that. Kentucky Girl, if it's the one I'm thinking about, and I thought about putting it in the news, but it was kind of gruesome. Not that I was worried. I just didn't want to get into a big conversation about the bear eating the remains of the... Is that what we're talking about? Because that was in the Citizens Time here in Asheville. I don't know. But let us know whatever you were referencing there. Oh, I was talking about how kids would run wild in Ryan's. I know when we went there, we would always try to, make sure we had the family under control, and always escorted them, because I was embarrassed, like if the kids ever touched something that they weren't supposed to or whatever, because I didn't want people, feeling like it was dirty. But that's part of buffets. Honestly, it's really hard to perfectly manage that situation if there are going to be kids there. Never heard of Duff's. Sounds like fun. It was good food. I've heard of Duff's. Do you mind if I ask what state you are in? We had in the local mall. My parents took us there every play day. Yeah, payday. Ours was in a strip mall too in Central Florida. Ohio, Kentucky. He's in Ohio, Kentucky. No, I get it. He's in Ohio, Kentucky. Girl. So yeah, he is in Ohio. They had them in Southern Ohio too on the river years ago. Is that down like by Marietta and stuff you're talking about? I think they are still determined if the man passed naturally and then the bear arrived. Not sure though. So maybe it is the story I was thinking about. I started reading it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if everybody wants me to talk about that stuff. Again, not that I wouldn't. I mean, this is not a channel intended for young kids or anything. I don't know about it. Sounded nasty, sad. Roanoke is at the base of 2 mountains, so you come down a mountain both north and south, and they nail you coming down both mountains. Right? Yeah, that's not cool. Rita said, "I didn't care for Duff's." Interesting. You have to let us know about which part of that. I think the leaves are going to be beautiful this year, according to what they say. Sounds like we're fitting the formula well. Duff's used to be about the only restaurant in Pigeon Forge. Oh wow, that must have been. If it was the only restaurant. So if you guys like, again, I'm into documentaries. If you guys like the history, there's a pretty good one I found once about the history of Pigeon Forge. I mean, that parkway used to have houses along it. Like there was no business. I mean, maybe a gas station, a service station, but it really exploded. And 60s, 70s, 80s when all that commercial property started coming through there. So, yeah, crazy. Here in Southern Indiana, we just got the news that they found a campsite. There's a bear eating human remains. Right. And I heard they wanted to euthanize that bear. I think they found it. I did not know that there was, I did not know there was one there. Oh, yeah. Uh, oh, uh, Gallipolis. My grandparents took us there to that one. Okay, down in Southern Ohio. It's thought that he was already dead before he reached him, still waiting on toxicology reports. You know, that's the thing about the wilderness and hiking and stuff. I mean, what was it, like a year or something ago? There were two, like a mom and a daughter walking, and the mom, like the daughter, it was like up by Cleveland's Dome, and the daughter like went off to the they were older, not like a young girl or something, but like something like the daughter went off to the parking lot and said, I don't know what it was, like, Mom, I'll catch you later, or meet me at the parking lot or something. And the mom tripped and fell down a ravine, and then they found her days later or something. Um, you know, that's why a lot of people like Smoky Mountain Hiker used to come to these live streams. They, you know, you got to be like a pro, like you got to know what you're doing. And that's why most of the people say, if you're going to be a novice hiker, like stay on the well-known path. And as far as camping, I think for city folk, glamping is probably a better idea unless you know what you're doing. Heading out for the night. Everybody have a good night and a good week. You as well, Chad. I'm going to end it here in a couple of minutes myself. I got to get going. Didn't mean to creep everyone out about the bear attack. I was just wondering if it's safe to go hiking in the national park. I think, again, I didn't see that comment before I said what I said. There is always an air of danger. I mean, every week when I put the news together for this live stream, there's almost always like some death or some accident in the mountains or parks. Somebody drowns, somebody slips and falls, somebody gets lost, somebody gets, I don't know as much about getting killed by an animal, but you know, these kinds of stories. And, you know, but does that mean it's not safe? No, again, I still think that the same things hold. Like if you go to, you know, that's why it's nice to go to places like Chimney Rock or, you know, the more popular hikes in Great Smoky Mountains National Park that are well defined, like Laurel Falls or Cataract Falls, and you know, some of the easier advanced hikes. These are really good for the people on vacation that want to hike and aren't getting, you know, a survival backpack and first aid kit and GPS and radio and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, actually, if you're interested in hiking, there's a lot of places like in Gatlinburg that you can ask advice. You can always go to the visitor centers and ask the park rangers. There are a lot of like well-versed people. Again, I guess the park rangers are excellent source of information. Pigeon Forge, Cherokee, and most Gatlinburg closed down in the winter and would not open back up until spring. What was that in reference to? I forget about all that stuff being closed. I'm a little bit behind here. The Duffs in Nashville did not have very good food, but this was probably 30 years ago. Okay. Bears are cute and everything, but don't mess with them. Right. Oh, hey, story has it. Haven't seen you in several months. I hope you're doing well, or whenever it's been. I really hope you're doing well, having a great start to your week. Unfortunately, I'm about to wrap up the live stream, but you can always go back and listen. We have had a good time tonight. I'm really glad you're able to stop by. I think Will commented on the bear last night, said the bear was euthanized because possibly once it tasted human flesh, it could be dangerous from having that taste. No, that's exactly what I read in the title in the Citizen Time, was like bear euthanized after eating human or something. I'm like, what in the world? So anyway, I guess we got to the bottom of that one, but yeah. Hello. Yeah, heard the thing about a dog once that killed a chicken is going to be a chicken killer from now on. Yeah. Only a couple of weeks. You're right. You know what? Story has it. I have a bad memory and a good memory. The last time I remember you on, very specifically, was my birthday, because I remember you toasting a drink on my birthday. So that's been about a month, but maybe you were on more recently than that. But I don't care. And by the way, I always love that avatar. The bowling avatar is super awesome. That is very, very cool. I like that. It's always cool when because sometimes, you know, you can take a picture of yourself and turn it into like like an animated version of it, that's kind of cool too. They have those sites out there. So yeah, so be careful if you're hiking, and if you want to hike again and you're not used to it, pay for like, or not pay, but go to a well-known area or something like that. It probably was your birthday. Yep. A new avatar. Yes, like it. And so yeah, with that, I'm sorry. I know some of you came in late, but I need to wrap it up. It's getting late here myself, and so I need to bid you farewell. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week, a great rest of your Monday. If you didn't get a chance again to check out the new Apple video, check it out. It's a lot of fun. And I hope to have another video coming out here shortly as well. If not, we will have, of course, the live streams to keep in touch in the interim. And you also are able to keep in touch through Instagram or Twitter if you'd like as well. And I hope, thank you so much for a great live stream tonight. Yes, sorry to be tardy. Have a great week, everyone. You as well. And good night to all. It was nice talking to everyone. It sure was. So good night to everyone in the live stream. Have a great week, a safe week. And yes, good night. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic week. And until next time, this is Mr. Mountain Man saying good night. Take care, everyone. Good night.